For millions of people, the biggest thing stopping them from staying healthy isn't a lack of medicine or doctors. It's actually something way more basic. It's just getting there. So let's get into the story of a system that was completely broken and the one person who just refused to let it win.
Man, that is a scene of just quiet frustration that plays out in clinics and hospitals every single day. And that is exactly where our story begins, seen through the eyes of a certified nursing assistant named Stephen Mbagu, who watched this happen over and over and over again.
Because what Stephen was seeing wasn't just a couple of unlucky moments. No, it was a symptom of a massive systemic failure, one with very real and very painful human costs. Okay, just look at this slide. It shows you the staggering scale of this problem. A 2024 survey found that 64% of seniors who skip medical care do it because they just can't get there. Think about that. That's not a small number. That's a huge majority. For millions of people, the journey to the doctor is the hardest part of their entire treatment. So why does this happen? Well, Stephen saw all the reasons up close. Sometimes the transporter was just flat out overbooked. Other times, a dispatcher made a mistake. The process to reschedule? A total nightmare. And if a patient had a heavy power chair, finding a vehicle that could even take them was almost impossible. But here's the most important part. These aren't just little logistical hiccups. They lead to delayed dialysis, to postponed chemotherapy, to totally preventable suffering. For Stephen, watching this day in and day out, that frustration just kept building, and eventually it boiled over and turned into something else. It became a reason to act. And this, right here, is what makes this story so powerful. To Stephen, that 64% wasn't some abstract number on a chart. It had faces, it had names. It was Mrs. Johnson, it was Mr. Chen, the people he cared for every single day, whose health was getting worse right in front of his eyes because the system was failing them.
And there it is, in his own simple but incredibly powerful words. The decision. It wasn't some grand business plan cooked up in a boardroom. It was just a direct, personal thought. Hey, if I start my own company, that's one less person who misses their appointment. It's as simple and as profound as that.
And with that one simple idea, absolutely everything changed. A problem he had only ever seen became a mission he knew he had to solve.
So let's look at how this mission became a reality. Because this wasn't about just starting another business. This was about creating a real solution, born from empathy and from seeing the problem firsthand. This timeline really just lays it all out perfectly. It didn't start with a business plan. It started by the bedside. All those years as a CNA gave him this incredible, unique insight. So when he decided to launch Bahati Transportation in 2017, it wasn't a strategic move. It was a moral one. It was a promise.
And the need for this service was and still is absolutely massive. The non-emergency medical transportation market is worth over $9 billion. Now, you see a number like that, and you obviously think huge business opportunity. But for Stephen, the bottom line was never the driving force.
Because to really understand Bahati Transportation, you have to get that it's built on a foundation of human dignity, not market analysis. It's a true philosophy of care.
This slide just puts everything into perfect perspective. On one side, you've got the cold, hard numbers of a multi-billion-dollar industry. And on the other side, you've got Stephen's view. It's not about market share. It's about the smile on a patient's face. It's about making sure someone gets to live the life they're supposed to have. I mean, that contrast says it all. And this makes the mission crystal clear. According to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, transportation issues are responsible for a quarter or more of all missed appointments. That slice of the pie right there, that is the battleground. That is the problem Bahati was built to solve.
And that gives the company a purpose you can actually measure. Every single successful transport, every patient that gets to their appointment on time, that helps shrink that 25%. It's a mission that's carried out every single time a driver turns the key in the ignition.
So what happens when one person, driven by a moral purpose, steps up to fix a systemic failure? Well, they don't just fill a gap in the market. They actually start to redefine the entire industry.
And this is how. Stephen's philosophy is literally baked into how the company runs. This isn't just some corporate checklist. It's a standard of care he teaches every single driver. It starts with taking personal responsibility, and it ends with a genuine human connection. It's about treating every single patient like they're your own family.
And this right here is the universal lesson in all of this. Most companies are born from opportunity, but the truly great ones, the ones that really change things, they're often born from empathy.
They're started by people who see a problem not as a data point, but as real human suffering, and they decide to become the solution themselves.
Stephen Mbagu's story is proof that one person's conviction really can start to fix a broken system. And it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. What injustice do you see every day? And what would happen if you decided you were the one to fix it?